All right. So, how many of you are working 9 to 5 jobs, 8 to 6 jobs, working second and third shift? Maybe are looking for a different avenue or path in life as far as career. And this doesn't mean that you just, have to quit your full time job for all those that love it. But maybe you are looking to make some extra income or turn it into a full time job for yourself. I always recommend, starting off whatever it is that you possibly have interested to do in life or want to do in life, to give it a go, give it a test before you just, stop everything or quit your full-time job and then jump headfirst into something. You want to take the time to kind of see things through to see if it is going to work for you, if that interest turns into a passion and the passion leading to a career. But today I want to share with you just a strategy and how you can trade the future markets. And a lot of you probably have watched the videos on the channel. And this is, for beginner traders, even those that have spent some time watching here on the channel. You've got to, really understand one thing that's very important, and that's simply surrounding the concept of structure. If you don't understand, you may hear the term price action as well, but structure is being able to look at things from a global perspective on a higher base charts, whether they're time, tick, volume, or even range, and determining, overall which way is the market moving. Now, I'm not saying that you can't at some point counter trend trade if you find a nice setup. That means, what is counter trend trading? That's taking trades against the actual market direction, meaning whatever's going on the higher base chart, maybe it's very bullish, and you find a setup to where on a lower range chart or time frame based chart that the market is bearish, okay, that you could take you start to look for interest to go short when the market is overall bullish. All right. So you have to understand that the best opportunities lie with any particular strategy when you are trading with the trend. If you ever heard the term or the saying that the trend is your friend, as long as you stay within it, you'll be fine. Yes, as long as the market is trending in one particular direction, breaking structure to the upside or to the downside, you trade accordingly. Now, the strategy is very simple. All it is understanding structure. Okay, you got to get the direction correct. Again, I recommend the best setups come for where you wait for a area of a major low or a major high structure point to be taken out, meaning to the upside if it's breaking structure higher, or to the downside if we're moving lower. So I'm going to talk about structure first because that's very important. Okay, if we look here today, not today, but this is like the last maybe couple of days on the NASDAQ. First, what you can see is that the market was very bullish. What does bullish mean? That basically means the market is where it's just making highs, pulling back, at creating structural points, okay? Just basically making swings to the upside, making higher highs and higher lows. That's stair stepping. As long as the market is doing that to the upside, why would you want to be going short if it's making higher highs and higher lows, trending in one particular direction? You should be looking for opportunities to go to go long. Like right here, you can see where the market made this high here, and then we have a pullback right here. So the market made a high there, and then we started swinging lower to the downside, and then it eventually went up there. And what did it do? It took out this area, this high right there. All right. So that's why when the market came back to this area of demand right here, okay, it rejected and pushed higher to retest that high right there. Look, we're swinging higher. You got to see the flow that the market is making. So it made a high, and then it starts making these small runs to the downside. These are lower lows and lower highs, but it created a high here, but it also created a low down here. Once it creates that low right there, then you got to ask yourself, okay, are they going to continue pushing higher to re-break this area structure or take it out, or the market come down and take this low out? Well, with it being very bullish to the upside, I would look for the market to run this high right here. And that's exactly what it did. So once you have a structural point being broken, like a major high right here being broken, so let's say you have a high here and a low here. Once you have a major structural point being taken out to the upside, then go ahead and mark off your demand zone. Now, what is demand? Demand is aggressive buying. Wherever you see as the market is moving higher, you always keep your eye focused on the last high that it made, which that's the most recent high. That major high there starts to move lower, basically creating a bit of structure. Then wait for it to start moving back to the upside. See if you get that break there. But prior to the break, look to see if you get a pullback to some little small swing where it's creating a decent amount of demand, aggressive buying to the upside that takes out this area of structure right there, that major high. Go ahead and mark it off. Then wait for the market to pull back to it. And as it's pulling back to basically retracing, then what you want to look for is what? Look for on a retracement where the market comes back and feels an imbalance or gap resting to the downside. Now, if you're kind of questioning what is an imbalance or gap, I'm basically saying a fair value gap for a lot of you that maybe know about the terminology there. And for all of you that may not quite understand the terminology, spend some time watching the videos on the channel. I can almost assure you any question that you have, you'll find it within some video here on the actual channel itself. I really go into detail about concepts and terminology when I'm talking about, for example, my trade breakdowns, the strategy, the cornerstone to how I actually trade within the private community. Those that choose to become elite and ultra elite supporters. It's very inexpensive, guys. And if you click on the link down in the description, I'll talk about it towards the end of the video because I'm sure some of you probably have interest in wanting to become a elite member. It's very inexpensive. I'm talking like pennies on the dollars a day, seriously. So let's take a look here. So we see the market pulling back to this area. Now, what I do once I've marked up on my higher chart, like whatever zone it may be, whether it's a demand or supply zone, once we have a structure point being taken out or broken, in this case, we do here, as the market was making higher highs and higher lows to the upside, we took out this area of structure and created a new high here. Now, when it pulls back to this demand area right here, as it's pulling back, I'm retracing down to a lower chart. For me, it's my lower range chart. Why do I trade range charts? I just did a video on that a couple of days ago, so please watch the video, maybe yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, talking about the reason why I trade, range bar charts. It's a very simple and easy, clear-cut answer, right? And that's why a lot of people who are part of the community here actually have converted over to trading from, say, time charts or time-based charts, tick, and now they're trading range charts. And once they hear the reasoning why and figure out the strategy, they see why and how it can become very useful for themselves and how they can become profitable, because we do have lots of profitable people who are part of the community. Some have still here, some of them gone. I don't plan on or expect, I should say, everyone to stick around once they've learned the strategy. Of course, you're going to want to kind of perfect your own craft once you learn something and maybe tweak with the strategy that you've learned once you spent time watching the video content and then moved on, but anyways, I'll talk about that towards the end of the video for those that want to become supporters of that group. But anyways, what we have here is a pullback to this area of demand. Now I'll move down to a lower chart. That's why in that private community, I talk about multi-chart confluence. That's where we mark up a higher base chart and then move down to a lower base chart to find our entries. And that's our entry chart to take the trades from. So if we're bullish and we're breaking structure higher, I'm looking for a pullback to this area here of demand. And then as it's pulling back, I'll scale down to my lower range chart, my 24 range, to look for a demand setup just as well. So if we're bullish, breaking structure up, I'm looking for demand on the higher range and a demand setup on the lower range, basically in the same geographical area to take the trade going to the upside and aiming for gaps to be filled, or basically for the market to retest the high, pretty much. Okay, it may not take it out, but to at least retest that high right there. Okay, so that's very simple concept here. And if you do this, you can actually make a part-time income doing this, working your full-time job. Those that are stuck to working their 9 to 5, or for those that are looking for a means of being able to quit their 9 to 5 job and are looking for an outlet or something that they could possibly love to do down the road. Again, this is not easy stuff, I will say it, but the more that you spend time perfecting it, back testing it, and forward testing, you'll see if you have a solid strategy. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is a difference of what's being put out there on the internet. You see a lot of people, so-called gurus, trying to sell, these courses or, these different programs. And a lot of people find that they don't actually work after spending so much time. I will say this right now: if you are in the process of learning something yourself, right, or educating yourself on a particular strategy, and you find out that it's not working for you, by back testing it, give it maybe 30 days. If it's not working, cut it early enough and move on to something else. Okay, because I'm not sitting here saying that everyone will get exactly what I'm trying to share, because everybody's mindset is different. I know that for a fact. Everybody's like, their psychology is different. They may be stuck to old habits and ways of doing things. They can't let them go. When I first started, I thought I knew how to trade the correct way, but I figured out down the road that there were some things that I didn't quite understand. And the number one thing that kept failing me was market structure. That's why I emphasize that concept so much. Market structure. You've got to master that, okay? Because if not, how are you going to know which way you should be actually looking to take a trade from? So that's a beautiful area of demand. So again, long as we're making, bullish to the upside and we're breaking structure, look for a pullback. The market moves in waves. Think of it, okay? If it's making higher highs and higher lows and waving to the upside, wait for it to start waving down to the downside, then come back up, breaking area of structure. If we're bullish to the upside, mark off your demand zone that broke that area of structure where it took out that major high when it broke above. Mark it off, higher chart, then wait for it to come back to it on a lower range chart. Once it comes back to this demand zone on the higher chart, you marked up, right? Scale down to your lower range chart, move down to your lower range chart or time-based chart, whatever you're using, okay? Because this is universal, supply and demand. And look for a demand setup back in this area to where you can take the trade going back to the upside with the flow of the market, because we are very bullish. Guys, I'm telling you, it's not rocket science. If you make it complex, it's going to be complex, but this is a great way for those that are, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the economy and people are being shaken up by job losses. And they're trying, they're scratching their head trying to figure out what is my next move? What is something I could possibly, find myself into? I will say this, it does take money, okay? But in reality, it doesn't take a lot of money, because when I first started, there wasn't the micros. And anyone who watching this today, I'm going to say this, trade the micro futures. That's the most least expensive. I should say least expensive. Least expensive way. Yeah, least expensive way to really dive deep into this stuff without incurring much cost, but always, demo and simulate first before you actually go live. I'm not saying you can't go out there and try to, get a brokerage account set up and everything, things of that nature, and maybe play some funds in there, but don't start trading live until you got this stuff down, pat and perfected. Or you can take the prop firm route, which a lot of people tend to do. I never traded prop firms, but I know they exist. When I first started trading, they didn't. But what I'm trying to say is that if you go that route, it's a great opportunity, because I think the prop firms are a good route for those that learn something and they're testing it to see. So using it basically as like a training mechanism to see if what they know, they can pass these evaluations using a strategy. And if so, then you're off to a good start. That way you can, basically make some money by compounding a small account with a prop firm and then look to take some withdrawals or deposits from them. Overall goal is to really set up and open up a personal account. All right. So you got to understand the flow of the actual market. And as you see here, I'm going to show you an example. The market does what? Goes up there, comes back, and we make a new high right here. So at that point, once we make this new high here, then let me go scroll to the right a little bit. The market starts coming down, making lower lows and lower highs. And then we take out this low that was made right here. So at that point, when we take that low out, guess what? We pull back and we're making, further lower lows and lower highs to the downside. This is where I would shift my mindset and start to possibly look for opportunities to do what? To go short. Now, let's see, was it yesterday? Okay, not yesterday, but right here, we make this low right here, but then we push back to the upside. We start making these higher highs, higher lows, back to the upside right here, okay? We do take out this high that was made right here, and yes, you can look for an opportunity to go long from there, but it does, and it makes a high right here. So now we're in between a major high and a major low right here, okay? And then the market does what? It starts making these lower lows, lower highs to the downside. And, again, we're in between two things, a major high and a major low there. So it's at this point that I would be looking for something to actually happen, either take out that high and take this low out. And then if it takes this high out, then, the market push up, pull back, and look for a demand setup to go long. If it starts to make higher highs and higher lows to the upside and then comes back down and re-breaks this low right here, then I'll look for a pullback to go short. That's why I believe it was, actually today, I had this area marked right here, this supply area. The market never came up to it and tapped it though. But this would have been a nice area of supply to take a trade, going back to the downside there. But again, this was a demand zone. I believe it was created, when was I think it was last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. It broke above this high right here. So it was making these highs, higher lows, higher highs, and pull back to this demand area here. Again, you mark it up on your higher chart. Once we break structure, pushing to the upside, mark it up on your higher chart, then scale down to your lower chart as it's retracing back to that area and it taps into that zone there on the higher chart. Look for a setup to go long. I mean, a demand setup to go long on your lower chart, range chart, time chart, tick chart, whatever it may be. Okay. Today I did a live recorded trading session, and what I do there is that I record my sessions and then I post them for the ultra elite in that case there, because they are the ones that get my live recorded sessions where I cover my trades that I take. They can see me execute the trades. I go into detail of why I took the trades, but I did a video on there covering a couple of trades that I actually took. I think it was 2 trades on the NASDAQ and 1 on actual GC on gold. But again, that's just an example of what you receive as a member of part of the community, especially if you're an ultra elite. Now, what does that mean? If you choose to become an elite or an ultra elite supporter, if you become an elite supporter, you receive my trade breakdown videos. That's all of them. That's where, if you go over to the Discord, now you can join the Discord too. It's free. The link is down in the description portion of the video. Click on it and join. There's a channel there. It's titled Trading Floor. On the trading floor is where I post my trades that I actually take, as well as other traders that are part of the community. But I'll go back and I'll break them down later on that day for the elite and the ultra elite. Why? Because it helps them understand the purpose and the reason, my mindset behind each one of those trades I take. But I also walk you through the complete setup. Okay? We're talking about the strategy as a whole for every trade that I take. All right, that helps people understand what to look for, why to look for it, and when to look for it. Okay, all surrounding the purpose of structure and price action. But you want to clearly understand the strategy, and that's kind of what I gave today, was a tidbit of the strategy as a whole and what and how I trade every single day. So as a elite supporter of the channel, very inexpensive. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, it's $6.99 a month. You break that down by the day on 30 days, and that's pennies on the dollar a day, guys. That's why I said that. The link is down in the description portion of the video. You receive all my trade breakdown videos, and there's tons of them there, where I walk you from setup to setup to setup, discussing each one of the setups in great detail: structure, price action, profit target areas, stop loss areas. You also receive the video playlist and a great video that I cover surrounding market structure. Now, if you want to take it one step up, and receive everything I just said, plus the live recorded trading sessions, that's where you can become an ultra elite supporter. That's I think it's $14.99 a month or $13.99, one or the other. I forget what it is. Let me double check right quick. Yes, it's actually $14.99, but you receive a lot of great value for everything. You get all the trade breakdown videos. Again, there's tons of them there, tons of live recorded trading session video content, the video playlist, and a great video surrounding market structure. Again, that's the most important concept. The link to become either one of the elite or the ultra elite supporters, that is down in the description. It's titled Ultra Elite Supporter. Click on it. Give it a few seconds, and you'll see, I believe, a couple of tiers pop up on the screen to the left hand side. You can click on each tier, and it's going to let you know the perks and rewards you receive for joining whichever one you want to. Okay, but yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to cover today, was let you know that there are opportunities and possibilities outside of working and keeping at that job that you may, whether it's a 9-to-5, a shift level job, maybe working a factory job, wherever it may be. There are opportunities out here, and it doesn't have to center to all be around trading, but at some point, you want to be able to start stacking your chips and putting things away to be able to, if you're looking down the road, to be able to invest in some kind of way. And some of the best ways to actually invest is going to be, one, have, basically a portfolio set up, is to have money tied into investments into the stock market as a trader yourself. You can do these things yourself. You don't need someone, a fund manager, to manage your own funds for you guys. Seriously, okay? But you want to be able to control your finances and start to put things away. And the best way to really climb ahead is investing some money into the markets in some kind of way. And you can make money by doing so on a daily basis. Probably, it depends on what you're making at your current job. Some of you probably can make 2 or 3 times, 5 times that amount, 10 times that amount. Just depends on how much you put into it over time. But I will say compound and grind slowly to get to a comfortable place eventually, to where you can grow an account and to be able to do some bigger things for yourself. But again, you can supplement your income just as well by doing this, making part-time income on the side. Maybe some of you can make an extra $500 a week. Some of you make an extra $500 a day. It just depends on what you really put into it. But the system and the strategy, how I trade, is very simple. It's all surrounding trading futures. So spend some time on the channel here, watching the video content. And again, if you're interested in joining either the Discord or becoming an elite or an ultra elite supporter, the links are down in the description portion of the video. Now, if you haven't taken the time to subscribe to the channel, please do so by clicking that sub button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications by clicking the bell, okay? You don't want to miss any video content, so make sure to click that bell. Outside of that, that's all I have, guys. I appreciate everyone and each one of you that takes time out of your day watching the video content. And if you found some value in today's video or on any video here on this channel, make sure to click that like button, that thumbs up button for me to show me some appreciation for making this video content that I spend so much time on a daily basis, grinding out for you guys to, to kind of, I say teach you guys, because I'm not a teacher. I don't proclaim to be one in any kind of way. It's just my way of being able to show you how I do it each and every day, what I look at, and if I can just touch the lives of someone out there, just a few is enough for me, because those few will share with other people. All right, take care. I'll see everyone in the next one.